Bombs are falling, airstrikes are rising, borders are closed. In the middle of chaos, one country has made a habit of doing the impossible. India rescue. Kuwait, from Kuwait in 1990 to Iran in 2025, India has pulled off evacuation operations in the middle of most dangerous war zone for its own people, yes, but for its citizens of more than 40 nations. Namaskar, you're watching the Unfiltered Talk with Rishika, and today I'll take you deep into Operation Sindhu and India's evacuation warfare. On June 2025, Israel and Iran are exchanging missiles. In the middle of the battlefield, over 15,000 Indians were stranded. June 18, 2025, India launched Operation Sindhu, a multi-front, multi-nations evacuation mission. Already bring home over 827 Indian nationals from Iranian cities like Mashhad and Tehran. Let me tell you what happened. Indians were transported by road to Yerevan, Armenia before flying back to Delhi. Coordination between MIA, Air India, IA, Indian Air Force and Indian Navy. Chartered flights brought them home Delhi. Navy were deployed in the Red Sea, helpline in Tel Aviv, Tehran and Amman. Airstrike continue, Operation Sindhu is still going on and India is ready for more. MEA spokesperson Randeep Jaiswal said the government accords highest priority to safety and security of our nationals abroad. Operation Sindhu is ongoing and more flights are ready. But this isn't the first time mission. India has mastered the art of real time rescue under real threats, real risk, powered by fearless diplomacy, swift military precision. Let me take you back. In Kuwait Airlift 1990, Gulf War. On August 2, 1990, Iraq under Saddam Hussein's invade Kuwait triggered a global crisis. Over 170,000 Indians were stranded in the war zone region. India responded with the largest civil evacuation in history under Prime Minister VP Singh, backed by a Congress-aligned bureaucracy. Between August 13 and August 11, 1990, India successfully evacuated 170,000 nationals from Kuwait and Jordan. Air India operated 488 flights over 59 days in the coordination with Indian Embassy and Indian Air Force, setting a world record for the most people evacuated by a civil airline, recognized by the Guinness Book of World Record as the largest air evacuation in history. This mission was become a blueprint for India. Modern evacuation doctrine combining civil aviation, military planning and diplomatic finesse. Now let's talk about Operation Sukoon. In 2006, India's calm in a storm. In July 2006, a full-scale war broke out between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon. As a rocket rained down, airstrike intensified. Thousands of civilians, including over 22,000 Indians, were caught in the conflict. The situation deteriorated rapidly. Roads were bombed, airports were shut, and chaos ruled streets of Beirut. In the response, India launched Operation Sukoon, a naval evacuation operation led by the Indian Navy. India became the first major naval evacuation mission from a foreign war zone. India dispatched 4 warships from the Western Fleet were already on deployment in the Mediterranean Sea under Task Force 54, INS Mumbai, INS Brahmaputra, INS Batwa and INS Shakti. These ships were redirected to the Lebanese coast military immediately after the war escalated. July 19 to July 24, 2006, the Indian Navy evacuated 2,280 Indian nationals, 436 Sri Lankans, 69 Nepalese, and 7 Lebanese nationals, and 1 Bangladeshi national. India just showing the world what regional leaderships in a crisis look like. Evacuation were brought by the sea to Cyprus, from there flown back to India via special Air India flights. Now let's talk about Operation Safe Homecoming 2011. In earlier 2011, Libya was in a violent civil unrest as a part of the Arab Spring. The protest against Gaddafi's regime quickly escalated into civil war, and the situation deteriorated rapidly. As the violence spread across Tripoli and other cities, over 18,000 Indian nationals found themselves stranded in a war zone, facing gunfire, lawlessness, and blocked airports. In a response, India launched Operation Safe Homecoming to evacuate its citizens safely from Libya. A launch date February 26, 2011. Result: over 15,000 Indians were safely brought back home. Operation concludes successfully by March 11, 2011. No major casualties reported among Indian nationals. 2015 Operation Rahat, India's lifeline from war-torn Yemen. In March 2015, a brutal civil war broke out in Yemen between the Houthi rebels and the Yemeni government, backed by Saudi-led coalition. As airstrikes, shellings, street battles gripped a capital Sana'a and other cities, around 5,600 Indians were stranded in a life-threatening condition. To rescue its citizens from the escalating conflict, the government of India launched Operation Rahat, high-risk military or humanitarian evacuation mission. Launched on a March 31st, 2015, led by General Retired V.K. Singh, then the Ministry of the State External Affairs. Here's the detail: 5,600 plus Indian nationals safely evacuated, but also 960 foreign nationals from 51 countries, including USA, UK, Germany, Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka, were also rescued, making it a global humanitarian operation. Here was challenge I want to talk about. Yemeni airspace was closed, airports bombed, and roads unsafe, rapidly changing the battle zone. No ceasefire, no guarantee of safety. Was spread across the cities, no safety communications line. Foreign nationals from the other country also began seeking India's help. Logistic conditions with Saudi Arabia, UN agencies. Operation Rahat wasn't just about saving Indians, it's about India's rising role as a first responder in an international crisis. India earned global praise from the United Nations, UN, Union, and several foreign governments. Foreign embassies requested Indian help when they couldn't reach their own citizens. Fifth, Operation Devi Shakti, 2021. India's swift rescue from Taliban-controlled Afghanistan. In August 2021, the world watched in a shock as the Taliban seized control of Afghanistan, including its capital Kabul, following the withdrawal of US troops and NATO troops. Sudden collapse in Afghan government created panic, chaos, and humanitarian emergency, especially for foreign nationals, unvulnerable Afghan citizens. Thousands rushed to Kabul airport, the only safe exit, which was under siege by crowds, militants, and bomb threats. India had approximately 700 plus Indian nationals, several Afghan Sikh and Hindus, embassy staff and personnel, Afghan partners, and students, workers connected to Indian mission and a project. Launched in mid-August 2021, name announced by EMA Dr. S. J. Shankar, Devi Shakti. It refers to divine feminine energy, symbolizing the protection, strength, and compassion. Over 800 people evacuated in multiple phases, including Indians, Afghans, women, children, Afghan nationals linked to India. Special rescue of 46 Afghan Hindu Sikh, including Swarup of Guru Granth Sahib Ji, brought respectively to India. Now talk about Operation Ganga, India's mission to rescue from Ukrainian war zone. On February 24, 2022, Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine, triggering Europe's biggest refugee crisis since World War II. Airstrikes, artillery fire, armed invasions swept across Ukraine cities. Caught in the middle were over 20,000 Indian nationals, mostly students studying in the cities like Kharkiv, Kiev, and other. Indian government launched Operation Ganga, a massive evacuation efforts to bring back stranded Indians from the war-hit Ukraine. Led on ground by 4 union ministers deployed to frontline countries: Harshdeep Singh Puri, Hungary; Jyotiraditya Scindia, Romania; Kiran Rijiju, Slovakia; General retired V.K. Singh, Poland. First phase, students were transported by road and rails to Poland, Romania, Slovakia, Hungary. First flight to India, over 90 special flights operated by Air India, Indian Air Force, and other private carriers flew home. C-17 Globemaster aircraft played a key role. 22,500 plus Indian citizens evacuated, including Indians, working personals, and even some standard foreign nationals. Several Ukrainian Nepalese citizens were also helped during the operation. Rescue of Indian students from Sumy, a city under Russian bombardment, became one of the most dangerous segments of the mission. Legacy of Operation Ganga showcased India's growing diplomatic strength, ability, and quickly in a war zone. Strengthen India's tie with the Eastern European nations. Project India as a responsible global player committed to protecting its people. PM Narendra Modi said at the time, Operation Ganga is not just an evacuation, it is a declaration that no Indian will ever left behind. Here's the one more. Operation Kaveri, India's lifeline from the flames of Sudan. In April 2023, fighting broke out in Sudan between the Sudanese Armed Forces (SAF) and the powerful paramilitary group called the Rapid Support Force. The conflict quickly escalated into full-blown civil war in the capital Khartoum, with the airstrikes, street battles, and chaos. Civilians caught in this sudden and deadly conflict were 3,500 Indian nationals. The government of India launched Operation Kharkiv, a large-scale, high-risk evacuation operation to bring back Indian standards in Sudan. Launch date April 24, 2023, led by Ministry of External Affairs. The name signifies Kaveri like a river, a symbolized lifeline that would bring people home to safely. 3,862 Indian nationals safely evacuated, also including nationals from Nepal and some dual nationals, were from conflict zone to India via Saudi Arabia record time. Rescue operations doesn't just happen because of the planes or warship, they succeed or fail because of diplomacy. Behind every evacuation that I told you, there was a back channel, a phone call, negotiation with the hostile or unstable power. So let's take a closer look. How has India's diplomacy evolved? What really changed between then and now? Congress era diplomacy pre-2014. Traditionally, Indian diplomacy operated on a quite non-confrontational, a slow burden model. Non-alignment at the core. India rarely took a side, allowing its negotiated with all parties during the Cold War and post-war chaos. Evacuations were discreet, backdoor talks, low media exposure, minimal headlines, diplomacy through the bureaucracy. Evacuations were often handled by career diplomats, seasoned bureaucrats with the minimal political interference. In a short, Congress era diplomacy was slow, steady, careful, and highly. It got the job done, but largely stay out of the spotlight. Now talk about Modi era diplomacy post 2014. The Modi government brought a new face to Indian diplomacy, one that is louder, faster, more visible on the global stage. Top down diplomacy. Evacuation diplomacy is led not just by the ambassadors but by the External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and sometimes even PM Modi himself. This creates urgency, visibility. Working with revivals, India has successfully negotiated evacuation from the countries hostile to each other: Iran, Israel, Russia, Ukraine, Saudi Arabia, Iran. These strategies neutrally, not passive non-alignment. Media-driven diplomacy. Operation named regular, MEA, briefing, officials, tweets. Diplomacy today is also about public resolutions or global messaging. In short, Modi era diplomacy is a strategic, fast-paced and highly personalized, putting India on the front foot in a geopolitics. So let's not confuse silence with insufficiency or visibility with drama. Congress government built a foundation of a professional bureaucrats diplomacy. Modi's government put a spotlight on it, made a faster, more strategic and more central to India's global identity. This isn't about which model is better. It's about how Indian diplomacy matured from the backroom art to frontline force. That's evaluation what makes India's evacuation missions convey of the world today. Before I wrap up this segment, I want to speak directly to some of evacuees. Yes, you been rescued from Israel and Iran, and yes, you are now safe on Indian soil. But that's not a small thing. You were evacuated from the active war zone, where airstrikes, rockets fires, regional collapse were unfolding in real time. And now some of you are saying, give us AC bus. They didn't give a AC bus. Give us connecting flights or booking our tickets to our hometown. Let's pause and think. When you choose to travel to Israel or Iran or any other country for work or studies, you booked your own tickets. You didn't wait for the Indian government to drop you there, or you go and ask, I want to go and buy a tickets for me, right? But now that you have been brought home alive, unharmed, safely, you expect the state not just rescue you, but they chauffeur you to your doorstep. Rescue is a national duty. Yes, I agree with that. But comfort is not in a entitlement. Let's not confuse compassion or convenience. Your life was saved, your home, you should be enough. That should be enough, at least for now. Because in the middle of the war, the luxury isn't an AC bus, it's survival. This was the Unfiltered Talk with Rishika, where we just don't tell you what happened. We tell you India leads with the courage. Jai Hind, stay bold, stay informed. Dhanyavad.